Hello, hello.
We're live.
Welcome.
Shut up and thrive.
The podcast where you will
Thrive.
learn to be the best version of yourself
And live your best life.
and thrive. Oh no.
That's how we act
Okay.
when Claudia's not around.
That's what that's
What
how we
y'all
act when we're
do?
waiting. When we're waiting for Claudia.
Oh, jeez.
Hi everyone.
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive, the podcast that will inspire you to live your best life.
Three best friends who have been growing, motivating, and inspiring each other.
I'm Vanilla. I bring the fun.
And this is Claudia, the passionate one.
And your girl Nair, sprinkling in the creativity.
When you listen to Shut Up and Thrive, it will remind you of your chats with your own BFFs.
Join in every week as we discuss all the things that make you want to shut up and thrive.
So, are you ready?
Let's get into the conversation.
Ooh, ooh.
What are you up to, ladies?
Just opening the podcast.
Welcome, welcome.
Grand afternoon, everyone.
Happy
doing
Monday.
Happy Monday. Who was born on a Monday?
Me.
Nobody here.
Oh,
Oh,
It
Claudia.
was me.
Claudia, it's your favorite day. Just
Woo!
yesterday, she's like, I like Mondays,
Mhm.
right?
I do
Yeah.
like Monday.
Of course, you like the day you were born. You picked
It
it.
prepares me to, hit the week strong, and then I'm done by Friday. I'm like, it's the week over yet.
Yeah, you're done on Friday, and then Sunday you prep for Monday.
Again for Monday. Okay. Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive. Let's thrive today. What's our thriving topic?
Let's thrive, ladies.
Today's a very, very thriving topic as we
Very
will be
important.
as we were talking about.
Burnout.
I couldn't remember.
You forgot already?
I was like, what's the word? Burnout. I've been
Well,
saying
we're
burnt out.
fire, so we burn, baby,
remember.
burn. Yeah.
It sticks with us. So burnout.
So burnout
Well,
it is.
Well, it's just a word. I guess we give it a definition of burnout. It is a state of an emotional, physical, or mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonging stress. So the feeling of feeling overwhelmed, emotionally drained, unable to meet certain demands. And I know I say it sometimes a lot. I'm so burned out.
Mhm.
And I never really thought of it as it really could be a condition. You know what I'm saying? Like a mental health, an emotional type of thing. I do definitely know the feeling of feeling that like it's too much. Too much is going on with me. So I've used it. I feel so burned out all the time. How about you guys?
I'm definitely aware when I'm burnt out. My body tells me, I feel it. Kind of always know, like, slow down type of thing.
You're asking when I feel burnout, or do I
No,
feel it?
do you ever feel it and you say it like I'm burnt out? Like, like I think that word just comes out and you're like, oh, I'm burnt
I
out.
don't think I've ever said I'm burnt out. I don't know. I don't think it's a word I use, but
Mhm.
when you were reading the definition, I can definitely relate to some of those things you mentioned, feeling overwhelmed, emotionally drained. Like, oh yeah, absolutely. But I've never been like burnt out. Like, I've never labeled it burnt out. How
Labeled
about
it
that?
burnt out, yeah.
But
Probably
What do
you
you
say like
label it?
drained. I'm so drained today. Like I know
I
I've
just
said it
call it what
too.
it is.
Yeah.
I just
I
call
need a vacation.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's how
that's
you
it.
call
That's
That's
the he
that's
is burnt out. I need
that's
a
my trigger.
vacation.
See, I just go straight to the solution.
Right.
Yeah. You don't need a therapist. The
Which
That
one
is
is
problem
your
seems to
therapy.
have resolved
Resolved
itself.
itself.
okay, wheels.
Reels have been, yeah, they're funny.
So what would you say are like 3 things that burn you out that you would say get you to that point? Like 1 to 3 things, like name a couple things.
Ugh, picking three. It could be work, family life, and then
But like what about family life though?
all of the things that I have to take care of. When you take everything underneath your wings, your there is that possibility of feeling burnt out because you're the only one doing it. So yeah, I think those are
That's
probably
probably
my
one of the biggest thing too
yeah.
when it comes to us mothers, right? And wives.
Just keep adding it. It just keeps adding to the plate, and then, like, other people not valuing the fact that you do have all of those things in your plate, like, you're working and you're taking care of a whole family and everybody else, and your job is required to take care of other people. So, yeah, you do feel drained at the end of the day, but at least I can say I feel drained and know that I have to do something about it. It's the ones that can't say it, that I worry about, and that's why I thought it was a topic that it's a little serious, but we can make it fun and thrive through it and learn some techniques on realizing when you're burnt out and saying that you're burnt out or whatever the word is, like I'm emotionally drained. It cuts out the anxiety piece in your life. A lot of people are suffering from anxiety. It's been up in the cases in anxiety. So these are kind of things that could talking about it could help you.
How about you,
Um,
Naya? And are
yeah.
you
Yeah, same for me, like having too much stuff on my schedule, like, oh, I gotta drive this kid here, and then this kid needs this, and I gotta fill out this form. So, when you have more than one child, I mean, maybe if you have one child, but I would think someone who has like me, 3 kids, that's triple the amount of, responsibilities. And then, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm responsible for everything because my husband does help, but he spends more time working than I would say I do. So most of that does fall on me. And me, I found myself more leaning towards burnout in my previous job rather than this job because my previous job, I had employees. So I had direct reports. So people that I was responsible for taking care of, similar to you, Claudia. So I would be the one that was, hearing about their problems and helping them through it. So that's where like that emotional drain would come in. And then you have your expectations from your job. So not only you trying to help people, but you also have stuff that you have to do for work. So that job was very led me to a lot of like those feelings of burnout. So yeah, work and home life. And when I haven't taken a vacation in a while, I'm
You
like,
can't say that in the last
is
couple
that
of years, because
season?
no, girl, you've been taking vacations.
No, when it's coming up on the 3, 4-month mark, I'm like,
I need to
something's
rest,
missing.
right?
Yeah.
It's not even about rest because and we could talk about ways that we not get to burnout. Like I
Mhm.
rest,
Okay, but taking the
but
quiz we just did, I just learned that. Um,
yeah, there's different types of
you
rest.
can exactly because there's different types of rest, and I was like, wow, I just took a restful vacation.
Mhm.
And but what I thought of it was,
Physical.
wow, we did not
Physical.
rest that vacation. We didn't
Yeah,
rest at all. But guess what? That was exactly the rest I needed
right.
when we get to the
When we
topic
get
of
to
the
that
rest.
point, yeah. But yeah. How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I definitely, like I mentioned earlier, I feel when I'm becoming burnt out. I am one to take on a lot of tasks. The jobs I choose for myself is dealing with a lot of people. So when I have like a long to-do list and I can't seem to, check them off as fast or as, how I want, I start to become burnt out. I feel it and, try to tackle it before people start, why are you acting? You're so stressed. Relax. And then I know, like, you know what? I'm a little burnt out. And that's exactly why I'm going through whatever situation I'm going. Yeah, I think we've all felt burnt out. I think everybody does. And the key here is to pay attention to when you do feel burnt out and
Right.
deal with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, some of the symptoms that we've probably already touched based on them, but they have physical symptoms are including feeling tired, having difficulty sleeping, experiencing change in appetite, dealing with headaches and muscle ache. So like that's your body. You're physically telling you like, oh, this hurts. And again, like we've said in the past, another pain is kind of a way to to awaken you and be like, "Hey, something's wrong here. That hurts." So take care of it. So if you're feeling some of those things, it could be you're burnt out. The other stuff is emotionally. So if you're lacking motivation, you're experiencing feeling self doubt. If you are failure or loneliness, like if you're feeling lonely overwhelmed with feeling of dissatisfactions. I mean,
That's
so
that's interesting because I would not, like, put those 2 together, think that those symptoms would be
mhm,
because of burnout.
yeah,
Like, if I'm feeling self-doubt, I would be like, "Oh, my problem is confidence." You know
mm,
what I mean? Like, so
right.
that's interesting.
I know when I read that too, I was like, "Oh, really?
Mhm.
Self-doubt? Like, I don't know why, but I guess those emotions come out when you're tired and anxious, and your behavior also has a change. And I brought up anxiety. So some people do social isolation when you start not going out, hanging out with the people that, they usually used to be lively with. Now you're just, pulling back and you have social anxiety, not performing your responsibilities when you home and you have all this laundry to do and dishes to wash and you're like, I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. It comes with that part. And work related could be anger, outburst, like it happens. I've seen it at work with certain people. So it's that one wasn't, it was kind of a like thing putting it together with burnt out at the same time, but I'm like, yeah, I have seen people like out of nowhere just burst at work. And I'm like,
No,
dude,
it's
that's not who you
yeah.
are.
I might be I tell my sister all the time, "You're tapped, but something
Yeah,
sometimes is not like I'm
Right.
missing a screw," because I'm at work the other day in my cubicle, and, the consumer there are, like, singing, and then they sing the song 5 times, they sing it 6 times, and on the 7th time or whatever, I tell myself, "Imagine if I scream mad loud, that's enough," or whatever, like,
shut
I would
up.
yeah, I wouldn't do it, but I was like, there's gotta be people out there that would be spazzing out because,
They
like,
would.
okay, would know that that job's not for you, like, I couldn't do this type of work because I wouldn't be able to listen to not that song one more time. So then I laugh at myself like, "Manila, you wouldn't do that." But I'm not. Yeah, I'm tapped.
But
That's
it's
funny.
normal to do that. Like imagine if you're that one person though who's feeling all of these symptoms
Mhm.
and you're at work and that happens and that's exactly what you do.
Mhm.
You scream it out loud and that's not
Yeah,
because you want
panic
to be
attacks,
rude.
anxiety attacks, right?
Yeah, that's just that it's your body and then all of a sudden you can't take it and you let it out.
Yeah.
So a lot of things come to play with us being aware. Again, that inner self. You need to be aware of what's going on internally because that helps you express externally what's going to happen. I know people will be like they know when I'm sad, like my face, they're like, oh, you look sad today, and I'll actually
Oh,
be sad.
yeah, it's
you
very
know
easy to tell with
the
you.
reason why I'm sad, well, I'm always smiling. Oh, we never see you sad. So when you see that person sad, you need to check in on them and things like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, but the thing with burnout is because it can show up so many different ways, it's hard to be like, "Oh, that person's burnt out. They need to
yeah,
go do this or do that." You just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, because these symptoms can be anything, can be related to anything, not just
yeah,
burnout?
Mhm.
that's true.
So it's hard to like really identify that you are burnt out.
Or it can be very simple after we give you our thriving points,
Oh, really?
right? No, because I know it's just before I would hear burnt out, I'd be like, "Oh, physically tired."
Mhm.
It's all it is. But all these points we just mentioned, it's like, no, wake up, read. You know what I mean? It's not just
Mhm.
physically. The term burnt out is way more than that. And it can be somebody who's suicidal. Sometimes it can just be burnt out.
So
They
is the burnout leading to that?
correct being burnt out. That's what I'm looking at it, being burnt out and not healing, not dealing with yourself, right? Leads to that.
I mean, that I would think that would be like an extreme case, but I can see it definitely. I mean,
Mhm.
you hear about it in the news all the time, like these people who in the news that are like they may have a lot of money or whatever, but their symptoms just overwhelm them to that they get to that point.
Yep.
Yeah, it could definitely lead into depression if you don't seek help. Talking to someone about it that's not friends or family, like a therapist, an outside a safe space to talk about your feelings. So if anyone's feeling these things, not don't talk to your BFF. For real now. Like if you're really feeling these things and you're out there, you don't know what to do, seek counselor or your PCP, your doctor. We don't know. We ain't doctors, but these are things that we discuss amongst ourselves and have. I know I have friends that friends, colleagues, I call them, that are psychiatrists or therapists that hey, I'm feeling this way, da da da, da, and you know what I'm saying? How can I change this, or what do I need to do? And they'll either give me a website or some books to read or things like that. In the past, when I used to do a different job, that was really, really hard to do. So knowing that you could ask for help is another thing. It's not just, oh, my back hurts every day. It's something that's going on with your body. Listen to your body internally, pay attention to those things, and discuss it with people who have medical licenses to help you. So how do you guys deal with burnouts? So we've discussed that we figured that we have burnouts or
Mhm.
difficult times. But so what do you do? I know Naya, we said Naya says vacation. I think we agreed with her on that. That's part of our let's fix what's going on. This is the solution. Vacation is it. But there are other things that you could do. What have you guys done?
Well, me in particular, to deal with burnout, because, all these years I've been learning is don't take on too much, as I have a tendency to naturally do that. I naturally want to do everything, be involved in everything. Like I seek it. That's what I know I love it. It's what I need. But when I do it too much, it burns me out. So I know to, just to be in balance with all of that is not take on too many things at once, don't belong. Like before, I belonged to a million and one clubs and wanted to start 5 different projects at the same time, right? And at the same time, my regular job was either with a group of adults or a group of students. So it's also a lot of people, a lot of other energies involved. And I know that that's one of the things that can easily burn people out. So I'm aware of that. And that's what I do. Now that's what I do. Try not to take on too much at once.
Um, for me, I try to lean on my partner. I mean, he is my partner for a reason, right? I turn to him to like vent, right? If something crazy happened at work, he'll always give me a listening ear. So that always helps, right? Just talking through it. As far as the family stuff, I think keeping a planner helps too, because then you feel a little bit more organized. You know what I mean? It's true.
No,
Why
I
not?
know. One thing I took away was having too many planners, because that was like, you a little
Yeah.
crazy now. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
same with
get you, but I
me.
get you.
I have one now and, just seeing them, like, taking them out of my head and writing them on paper, in a sense, just gives me like, releases me of having to carry those appointments or, those responsibilities. They are there, I look at it, I know what I need to do, and that's it. You know what I mean? I was gonna say one other thing, but I think I forgot.
Lean on your partner, get organized.
And similar to you too, Vanilla, like just take a step back from commitments. And like at work, I was part of like so many employee networks, and I was one of the leaders on one of them, and for a couple of years, and then it got to the point I was like, you know what, next year I'm not going to continue. I mean, I'm still going to be part of the organization, but I'm going to have to take a step down. And during one of my reviews, just having that conversation with my boss, and she could relate too, because she was like, yeah, I was like that too. And I got to a point that, sometimes you just have to make what's the best decision for you. It doesn't mean that you won't get back to that one day, but, you have to like assess the commitments that you have on a routine basis, because you'll end up getting so, because you want to be helpful, you want to be part of everything, and you have good intentions, but you never want to get to a point that now you're putting your health in jeopardy. You know what I mean? Your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health. So yeah, definitely kind of like assessing what I'm involved in, and taking away wherever I can.
No,
Asking for help, that's what I was gonna say. Kind of
mhm.
part of everything. Just asking for help, saying, okay, can you help me with this task? Or, can you take this on, is also helpful too.
All right. Well, I wish I was as good as you guys.
What do you
I
mean?
I take a lot on my shoulders. Don't ask many people for help. I have certain people who I ask for help, and that is like my mother, my brother.
Well, same with me. It's not, I don't have many people I can ask for help, but when I need help, I'm gonna ask for help. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. But I need to stop taking on too much. I don't think people understand my way of running my schedule. So Letting that go is a
I don't think
problem.
anybody's gonna understand. Everybody's gonna have their own way of
It
how they
is
do their
crazy,
thing.
just running it, it just I don't know, it just too many people in my pot, it drives me nuts, like, I'd rather just do it
You
myself, and
want
that's why I
control.
get burned out, and I know that.
You want that control.
It's yeah, because if I do it, it's done. You know what I'm saying? If somebody else does it, I have to redo it or I have to fix it. I've been let down way too many times. So I think that's where my own responsibilities, because of I don't want it to be done wrong and have to redo it, I take on all of it. You know what I'm saying? And
But
I
why do you
know
think so
I
that's
shouldn't.
bringing me I'm about to be
Yeah.
like, "Why do you think people will do it wrong?"
I know that I shouldn't, but
Um,
it's something that I'm aware of and I'm trying to work on.
Well, what can help you with that too is setting the expectations like up front. Just make sure, maybe give them, okay, can you do this for me? And make sure this, and this is part of it. You know what I mean? Like make sure they know what the expectations are rather than just saying, oh, do this.
They do it their way. No matter how much I explain
I
it,
mean, it's
they do
okay
it.
for people to do it their own way, but ultimately the results should come out to be the same. You have to set the expectation of what the result is, not
Mm,
just I need this done, but it needs to be done. So this is the outcome. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain way that you can delegate so that it gets done because you
well,
can't just
I
be
guess
in
I'm
a
not good at
situation where,
delegating.
huh?
I guess I'm not good at delegating. I need to learn.
Right, there you go. That could be something you can look into is how to delegate because that's a huge thing. I mean, I come from management, so this is stuff we're taught and we learn because as a leader, you cannot take on everything, and that's
Mhm.
taught to you from the beginning. You have to a good leader has to be able to delegate because
as
there's
a
no
mom of
way.
3, you
That's what
need
I'm
to learn
saying.
how to
You
delegate.
know, I've been delegating chores to my kids since they were like in diapers. So it's stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like you have to like that has to be part of so you don't get burnt out, you know?
Yeah, that's my problem. It's
We're
my
gonna
problem.
fix that. We're gonna
Yeah,
fix
we're
all our
gonna work on
problems.
it. We're gonna work on it.
And other people's stuff tend to get dropped on me a lot. People depend on me a lot, so I definitely do a lot for others. So it's like, oh, I'm doing this for my mom. Oh, I'm doing this for my aunt. I'm doing this for my cousin. And it's not that I'm complaining about doing it, but it does become another thing that I have to add on my list to do besides the things I have to do. So yeah,
Seems
there
like you
really
need to add
is.
to your list not to do, to learn how to say, "No,
No,
I can't. I'm sorry," because people will find another way. If they
yeah.
know Claudia's secure way for many years, it's always they're not going to go to second choice. They're gonna go to first choice. So
Yeah.
when you start being like, "No, I'm so sorry,"
You don't
unapologetic,
even
and
have
say
to
no.
say
You're so
no is a
sorry, actually.
complete sentence. Remember, I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys ever heard
Yeah,
that.
it's just
No,
no.
I don't have to
No.
give you a reason. Like
yeah.
if
Well,
I
when
can't, I
it comes
can't.
to mom and dad,
Right,
sometimes
yeah.
it's like, "What do you mean? You've been
Yeah,
doing it all these
family.
years."
Yeah, you could
But
give them an
it's
explanation, but just
sometimes
overall in
it's
general.
family. It's really
Yeah.
sometimes it's family that's and listening to you, it looks like it really is just your family. One, because you're not the type to social if it's not working, you're not the type to socialize like with a bunch of friends or different groups. So I don't think that burnt out is coming from that. Not even the burnt out, but the too many tasks that you take on. It's coming from that social aspect, but more family. So don't feel bad about taking care of you first. Don't feel bad about saying no,
Mhm.
and you'll start to feel less burnt out
Yeah.
And it's not gonna feel good when you say
right
no
away.
right
Yeah,
away, but then you like Vanille said, they'll find another way.
yeah. It won't feel good, but when you see that they find another way, you're gonna be
You'll
like,
be like,
"Oh
"Okay, yeah."
I don't know. I guess because they do a lot for me, and I always feel like I need to do for them too. So,
no."
but
Uh,
it does become a burnt out. I don't do it out of like, oh, I'm so upset that I'm doing it. I really don't. I just do. I do it because it's part of what. Okay, just another thing I got to do.
It's who you
But
are.
I can feel it on my shoulders. I can feel it at the end of the day that like, man, I did a lot today, and I'm like, what was for me? Nothing. Nothing was for me. It was all for someone
And I'm
else.
sure you
It
do
was
all
my
of that
work.
stuff thinking you're doing it for you because that's who you
it
are. So
makes you
you're doing
happy.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's me
but
too. But then it's like the end of the week, it's like, ooh,
what did I do for me?
I need the Sunday to myself, you know?
Mhm.
You just gotta
Yeah,
remember
I
you're
do
gonna
pick
need your
those
days
days
to
for myself,
myself.
so, yeah, we do that. But those are the kind of things that
Picking that day to yourself doesn't mean picking the day to do your laundry, picking the day to
Yeah,
go do the
to
grocery
clean the
shopping, to
house
clean the
and
house. That's not picking you
it sets
because
up
you're
my
home
week.
alone. I know, but
but that's not for
that's
you.
when the delegating then comes in. delegate and leave the house. Be like, when I come back at
I'm
a
going
certain
for a walk
time.
around the park.
No, the only time that I feel that I'm doing something for me is when I'm working out or I'm doing this.
Because you are doing
Before that.
that just for you, or when you're
Right.
reading a book. Or did you just say us podcast? Yeah, for real. When I was
Yeah,
reading today, I was like, I guess I've been working on, not being burnt out by closing the doors and saying, nope, I'm recording.
Mhm.
right. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
me
it's
time right now.
I'm
Like
chit chatting with my
Right,
girls. Yeah.
that's
right.
that's part of what I've been doing to make it so like my number one thing is getting out to be alone, away from everybody. So working out is my excuse to like I need to
Nice.
be alone.
Oh, and I think that can bring us slide us into the. I know I had a great book recommendation.
I don't have a book.
It wasn't a book. It was an
It's an
article.
article.
Yes, the article's awesome, by the way. And
Yes, it is,
if
and it'll
you
be linked,
it
so
will be
y'all
linked. The article's called 7 Types of.
it's called I don't even know what it's called. Hold on, let me go to it. I think it's like 7 Types of Rest.
Oh, Sacred Rest.
Oh, that's the book, I think okay,
I
so
knew you had a book.
no, 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 I
Yeah, Sacred
the
Rest is the book.
Sacred Rest is the book, but the article is The 7 Types of Rest by Sandra Dalton Smith, MD. So I think the
Mhm.
book I think the article maybe takes from the book, but she also wrote that book from my
Yeah,
understanding, right? Sacred
yes.
Rest is what it's called.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much for recommending that,
yeah.
and definitely recommend it to our readers. I read the
So I
article.
haven't read the book, so I don't want you guys to think I'm recommending the
Okay,
book. I'm just
but
saying
we
she
recommend
wrote
the
Website.
article
recommend the article and
that we
we'll
read and the
yeah,
quiz as well, that there's a quiz, I think. Is the quiz
it's in
related
the
to it, or
article.
was it is in
Yeah,
the article?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I took the quiz and I was like, "This is awesome. I can't wait to recommend it to all our listeners on the podcast." So it should take you about, like, 5 to 10 minutes, 70 questions,
It's
right,
not
to take
5 to
it?
10 minutes. I
It
think
was
it took
longer
me
than
like
that?
20 minutes.
I think
'Cause
yeah. It depends how fast you read and
yeah,
how fast you are burned
you
out, like,
answer.
you
Cause
answer your
70
question.
questions is 70 is a lot, but I like
It
the
could be
fact that it
a minute a question, you know?
a minute a question, that's 70 minutes. I
Oh,
mean,
whatever, I take it back. Whatever
15
fast it
seconds a question maybe. But no, but I like that it's so long because then you get a true assessment. You know what I'm saying? Like the more you ask certain questions, then more you get a better understanding of what it is you're looking for. So don't get overwhelmed or don't get scared away by the amount of questions because it's very helpful.
Yeah, it's only 70 questions.
Only.
It is,
Only is like 10 or 20, but 70, girl, that's a lot.
I
Mhm.
guess.
But Claudia, do you want me to go into that or
Yeah, no, go ahead.
okay?
That sounds good.
So the article basically talks about this woman's experience with burnt out. And then I'm not gonna go into the article so you guys can actually read it, but I do want to touch on what the 7 types of rest are. So basically, when we're feeling burnt out, a lot of times we think like, oh, I just need to sleep, right? Like, yeah, I just
Mhm.
need to rest, I need to sleep. And if I remember the article correctly, she slept but was still feeling burnt out. So she's like, what's going on? So that's where she came to, I guess, this theory that there are, in order to, I guess, come out of this burnt out state, is you need to determine what's causing the burnout. And then from there you can get into what type of rest you need so that you're not burnt out. So the 7 are physical rest, mental, social, spiritual, sensory, emotional, and creative. So physical is, like what Claudia mentioned, like body aches and things like that, feeling tired. And what I thought was interesting about physical rest is that there's 2 types. There's passive rest, passive physical rest, which is like sleeping, napping, right? That's passive. But then there's also active rest, active physical rest,
Yeah,
which is,
physical.
yeah, active physical rest, which is doing things like yoga, stretching, getting a massage. So all those fall into that category if you are
Physical.
feeling
Oh,
physically tired. So some of the signs that you need physical rest are body aches and pains, swelling in your legs and your feet, especially those of us that work in a sedentary like position, like we're in front of computers all the time, like you can be prone to like swelling and things like that because you're not moving your body a lot.
Mhm.
Next is mental rest. So, if you ever feel like you can't sleep, like when you go to bed and your mind is like racing, then you must be mentally burnt out. And
It's signs, right, that you may be mentally burnt out.
yeah, yeah. So I don't think she gave any tips on that.
On what?
Oh, another thing too that you might be mentally burnt out is you can't remember things.
Mhm.
So like you have 3 things you need to buy at the grocery store. You walk into the grocery store and now all of a sudden you can't remember what you need to buy. I know I've experienced that. I'm sure a lot of us have too. Like you're just like, I came to Walmart for 3 things. What did I come to Walmart for? You know
Yeah.
what I
Walk
mean?
out with everything that you didn't go
And
there for.
right, I do that all the time. And then, you go to Walmart, Target, and you're like, you see all these cute things, and then you leave and you're like, dang, I didn't even get what I actually came here to get.
Ooh, tough.
But like if you're repeatedly seeing this, that could be a sign that you need some
Mental
mental
rest.
rest. Yeah.
Mhm.
The next one is spiritual rest.
It was so well, it
Oh,
doesn't matter,
social, sorry.
social.
I skipped social. Huh. Social. Feel like everyone is taking from you, but no one is pouring into you. Claudia. So yeah, so that's where
Or or you're given not people just taking, but you're, like, doing too much, but
yeah,
you're not
for
reserving a
others.
moment for yourself, like, when you lack giving yourself rest in a way, right?
Like
Like,
they
get a
say, you
moment for
can't pour from an empty cup. You got to fill
Mhm.
your cup first before you can pour into others. So that's social, like other people.
Yeah.
And then spiritual is having a need to feel like we belong. So people who are suffering from spiritual rest are deficient in like you go to work just for a paycheck. Like you don't find meaning in the work that you do. You feel like what you do doesn't matter. So for that, some people can get into that like they're not happy with the job that they're doing, but a lot of times you just have to change your perspective too because you might feel like you're in a mundane job, but if you really like zoom out of like your current position, like you can tie it to like an overall goal. Like even though your job may seem very minimal, but if you were not doing that job, I'm pretty sure your company would not be successful, that there is a tie there. So if you cannot leave that job for something better, right? That's something you can do is just kind of like shift your perspective on the type of work that you're doing to feel it's meaningful.
Yeah, and that whole spiritual rest too with, some people just they lack hope, they lack faith, they lack believing in something greater and just knowing that it's gonna be okay tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a better day, they even lack purpose. I think
Right,
that too
purpose.
fills into
Yeah.
spiritual rest.
Yeah. And then the next one is sensory. Sensory. So again, so your five senses, right? So hearing, seeing, touching, some of the things that can add to sensory burnout are like the phone ringing may aggravate you, bright lights from computers. She even gave an example of like some people's backgrounds on Zoom calls, like that
Mhm.
might be like an sensory overload for you. And the way that shows up is through like irritation, agitation, rage, or anger. So going back to what Claudia was saying about when people lash out and they're angry, that could be sensory overload.
Yep,
You know what I'm
work
saying?
in a factory that's, like, loud
Loud,
all
yeah.
or yeah.
Even kids, like, I remember when my kids were young,
Mhm.
there were times where I used to be like, "Will these kids just shut up?" You know what I mean? 'Cause, they're being
It's
kids,
so
so
loud.
you're not gonna say that, but, like, that's sensory overload, like, you need rest from that.
Mhm.
And then emotional rest, which is when you don't share your emotions with people. You might be emotionally burnt out where you're not expressing your feelings and what's really going on with you.
Mhm.
You can become emotionally burnt out. And a lot of us suffer through that where like maybe we got into a huge argument with our partner before work and now we're at work like trying to be happy and act like everything's okay when you probably need to go talk to someone or do something to release that
Mhm.
emotion that you're carrying around all day. And
Yeah,
then the last
we don't tell our kids sometimes what's really going on in the family because we don't wanna stress them out,
right,
so we
right,
keep it all
exactly.
inside. Yeah.
But we have to find ways that we can either seek therapy or someone of confidence that we can actually express our emotions because that release is gonna help with that.
Mhm.
And the last one is creative. So creative burnout falls with like if you're having trouble being innovative or coming up with solutions to problems, like you may think of creativity as just art related, right? It's just art. But no, it's in our day to day world. If we're not able to brainstorm, if we're not able to come up with
Go out in
ideas,
nature,
that
right?
can help, but I'm just saying, like, what that is, like, what creative burnout feels like.
Mhm. Okay.
It's not being able to brainstorm ideas, not being innovative, not being able to problem solve. All of that adds to being creatively burnt out. But like you said, what we can do to solve that is like, going out into nature, um,
Appreciate stuff around you, yeah.
Mhm. And even if it's like looking at art, like going to museums, that can also help with that too. Dance, music, listening to music. So those were the 7 different types of rest that we would need depending on what we were experiencing. Because like we mentioned, burnt out can't just isn't just one thing. It can be a number of things.
Mhm.
So we all took a quiz, right? We took the quiz.
Yeah.
Did you get your results, Claudia?
Yes, it did.
Oh, I came in. Yay.
Yeah, it did.
So the quiz asks you, like Vanille said, what, 70 questions, and you have to answer. You get 5 options, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
always, sometimes, never, occasionally, like, those kinds of
Yeah.
questions where you kind of rate it on a scale, how that statement applies to you. And from there, it breaks down where you need the most rest based on a scoring system. So I just want to give a breakdown of how the scoring is done. So the type of rest with the highest score is the one you should focus on the most. So what they do is they give a number to each category of this one of the 7. If you score between 0 to 15, you are getting adequate rest in that area. If you score 16 to 25, you're experiencing rest in this area but could thrive with more. Did you notice they
Oh,
used
yeah,
that
I
word?
remember when I saw that
Right.
word. I
if you
remember.
if you score 26 through 35, you are feeling the effects of your lack of rest and need to change. And if you are
That
if
does
you
that mean you're burnt out?
you're not there yet, but you're
Oh, okay.
probably right there. 35 or higher,
Oh,
you're
it gives
higher
you
than
more.
35, your life is negatively affected by your lack of rest in that area. So if you score over 35 in any category, then you are being negatively impacted by not resting in that category.
Okay.
So, do you ladies want to let us know your results? Well, let's
Yeah.
start with,
We're gonna let Claudia go first.
do you want to say what our highest one was, or how do you want to go through it?
We're gonna let Claudia give us hers first.
Okay.
You want all of my
She-
scores?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do we want to determine the scoring?
Oh, I don't know, because sometimes you get, like, more than one category, they have the same
Okay. All right.
number, right?
All right. Go ahead. Tell
In my
us.
case.
Okay. My physical rest scored 24.
So
My
24,
mhm.
That
mm,
puts you in the you are getting,
you are
um
experiencing rest, but could thrive with more
Yeah.
physical.
23 for mental rest
same
and
thing.
Mhm.
sensory rest. And then 20 for creative rest.
Okay.
Yeah. She said she
19.
had, I have no problem with brainstorming ideas.
I
Mhm.
feel like I don't, but
Yeah,
maybe
it's
I do need to
20.
work on that.
So 20 is still in that
You
category.
could thrive if you work on
Thrive,
it a little
yeah.
bit more.
I think all of mines I could thrive into if
So
I
they're
work
all
on it.
between 16 and 25?
Except one.
Okay.
Yeah.
My spiritual rest score is 12.
Oh, it's low, so you're
I
good.
That's
have a
good,
purpose, and
remember.
I know that. Everything I do is for a purpose.
And then everything else just fell into that second category?
Everything else felt between the 16
And
to
25.
25.
So which one was your
Okay.
highest?
My highest was 24, which was physical rest, which I don't get. I don't understand.
So physical rest is your body physically needs to rest either by
Yeah.
sleeping more or by like doing yoga,
Yeah,
stretches,
like,
things
don't
like
think
that.
of it as, "I get exercise," No,
Right.
it's what you're
like
Remember.
doing things that rest your muscles. Like exercising is not rest, but yoga is rest because it's slower, stretching, those kinds of
Mm,
active
okay.
things. So if you
Meditation. Or maybe not. Maybe that's mental.
I think that's more mental. So if you feel like you're getting enough sleep, for instance, it could
Mm-hmm.
be maybe you need to do some yoga, some stretching, maybe adding like 10 minutes of stretching every morning or something else to see if it helps you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it says for physical, the chance to use the body in restorative ways to decrease muscle tension, reduce headaches, and promote higher quality sleep.
So,
That's
and
physical
the
rest.
other thing too is coming up on a podcast episode near you, we're going to be talking about sleeping and dreaming. 'Cause I just finished reading the book, Why We Sleep, where maybe you are sleeping, but maybe you're not getting a high quality of sleep.
Sleep.
You know what I
Mm,
mean? So it could be that too. But yeah,
okay.
so that's cool that at least you know where like you want to start
You see
for next.
that attention.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Like I know my body needs something because
Maybe you need to
this area
schedule a
hurts all the time.
massage. Schedule a massage.
Yeah, sounds like I need to do that. Vanilla, you're next.
Am I?
Mhm.
I scored 20 for physical rest score, 21 mental rest, 15 emotional rest, 11 for spiritual, 12 for social, 17 for sensory, and 20 for creative.
You
And,
scored pretty low
and
too.
was I surprised? Not really, especially with the creative one.
What did
You
you
know,
score for that?
20.
20 or physical creative. With me, I know
Those were
it's,
your highest?
yeah, the 2 highest ones. Well, mental rest was also that. And I think those 3 kind of have this thing with each other because it reminds you if you wanna, do better in those areas, the things that you should be doing, and that's more
They align.
dancing, and I haven't been dancing,
I know.
more meditation, I haven't been meditating like I was. So, yeah, I wasn't really that surprised with my score. The lowest one was spiritual. So I guess that falls deeply into, like I said, hope, believing something bigger, believing that tomorrow is gonna be a better
Okay.
day. I think that's where I'm doing the best.
Me too.
That and social, of course, because my butt is always surrounded by people. I'm doing good there too.
All right. You guys ready? I think I scored the highest out of everyone.
Damn, girl.
I was trying to not like select really neutral because I know when you do like a neutral answer, it's like
But this
you
quiz is
don't really
awesome to
get,
not
yeah,
let
it's
you
so
pick
good.
neutral.
Yeah, but when you pick that middle one, that's a neutral answer.
Yeah, hardly.
So physical rest, I scored 20, mental rest, 25, emotional rest, 26, spiritual rest, 10,
Mm,
social rest, 20, sensory, 19, creative, 24. So yeah, spiritual, the lowest one, just I think you guys were low in that too. What
That
was
was my
spiritual
lowest one
again?
too. I got 11.
Yeah, I
Well,
think it's
spiritual
because
is the capacity to experience
have
God,
purpose in life and
in all
yeah.
things and stuff.
So yeah, between 19 and 25, so I'm in that you are getting adequate rest in these areas. No, no, no.
yeah,
I'm getting
You are
rest, but what can
but
experiencing
could
thrive
rest.
with
thrive.
more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but could thrive. My biggest one was emotional rest, which I mean it's not that far off, but it's my highest one. So emotional rest was the one about the freedom to authentically express feelings and eliminate people pleasing behaviors. I don't think I have that, but it's definitely something for me to explore
Mhm.
how I can, thrive more in that particular area. That and mental, because mental was 25.
Which
Um,
one was
mental rest. So
the ability to quiet cerebral chatter and focus
Are you serious? What
on
do I
things that
both of
matter.
you?
uh
I think you focus on things that matter, but like
yeah,
your
I do.
brain is like, what?
My brain is always working. I
Yeah.
mean, but I feel like I like when I go to bed, I sleep. Like
Yeah, that's why I say the
I
same
think
thing. I was like, why is
I
it so
do
high?
have like I do maybe because
But the whole
I'm
sleep is put in that physical category, not the
no,
mental.
no, 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 because part of like if you can't fall asleep because your brain is buzzing, that's
Mhm.
mental. Your
Mental.
mental is not getting a break. That's just one of the signs. But what I'm
Mhm.
saying is I do notice that about myself. Like when I lay my head that I start to get into that, but the brain is going. But I think because I've just been practicing with like meditation and just getting into that whole,
Go within and relax and
yeah, so I know how to turn that
lounge.
off. Like, I know how to turn that off and I can fall asleep. Like, I know how to switch my
Mhm.
focus to more positive thoughts. Remember I told you
Yeah.
guys, like, in an episode way back when, like, I'll use that time to, like, envision, like, what I
Mhm.
want my life to be. Like, okay, this is me on my next vacation, or this is me in my future home. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I try to use that to visualize the things I want to manifest. So again, I have a way to quiet the mind, but I do know my mind is like always going because I always got
Yeah.
ideas and things I want
And
to
it
do.
probably is going even while you're asleep too, because remember, you used to say, "I remember my dreams," or
Yeah.
lucid dreams. It's like, how much of that is good and how
Oh,
much
I
of it is
will.
not so good,
I,
you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have information on that for you guys. Remember, I just read the book
On
Why We Sleep,
Oh, that's
and
a
it
different topic.
that's a different topic, and we did touch the book does touch on dreams. It is from a scientific perspective, so I want to do a little bit more research on dreams. I want to touch on like the spiritual aspect of dreaming and like the woo stuff of dreaming before I bring that topic here. But yeah, dreaming is very, very important, and we will learn about that. But for me, yeah, like those two what came high for me, mental and emotional. So it's definitely something for me to explore because
But
the
I don't
article
think
is good,
you
but
didn't
it
go over.
doesn't give you things you can do to help with those.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that the article
Maybe
is
that's the
missing.
book.
Right, I was
Really?
just gonna say that. So I'm gonna look
Yeah,
to see
because
and
the
read the
book.
book,
Yeah.
if I could find the book to, and I'm sure it does. If the
But
article
and then
gives,
but even when you take the quiz, there's a link for to go
To take
deeper
you if
into
you
the
wanna evaluate more.
yeah,
oh, okay,
on the
click here to
more
access my details.
detailed, yeah, more
Okay,
detailed
yeah, I didn't do
evaluation.
that. I did. Did you
Okay.
guys do that?
No, I just took the quiz.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
so
takes you to
that's
the book.
What?
right.
Takes you to the book.
Yeah, of course. She's gotta,
Yeah,
get
that's
us,
how she
hook
evaluates
us.
it all.
She hooked us now and she's like, okay, if you want the rest, you gotta go read the book.
Hey, she
Mhm.
wrote a book and then we everybody wants to interview her, so an article was written.
Yeah,
Probably
so I'm excited
marketing.
to look into the book for more. It's called Sacred Rest. Recover your life, renew your energy, restore your sanity.
Yeah, sounds cool.
But again, overall, our score, we don't have anything really over
We
35. So yeah,
thriving.
nothing really negatively impacting. But again, there's always room for improvement. And I'm sure maybe if we were dealing with something and we took the quiz then, something really heavy, then maybe our scores
It'll
might
be
be
different.
different. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There
Yeah.
might be different points of your life. But it's good to have something like this to really pinpoint if you can't yourself, you know what I mean? Like, what is it that's going on with me? This is a great tool to help with that.
Yeah.
So we
Mhm.
thriving, ladies. We well rested.
Yes, we are on a thriving journey and it's amazing.
So cool, right? We keep finding all these cool things.
Well, I
It's the
thought I was
beauty of
resting. Apparently, I'm not resting
why okay, when you
enough.
say
Well,
resting, what do you
no,
mean? It's
you're
just by going to
good.
bed and sleeping? You think you're getting a good night's sleep, but are you really getting a good night's sleep? That's the thing. Oh, I go to bed early and I wake up early, but are you resting? You know what I mean, Claudia?
Yeah,
Can you
no, I
really
know
s
what you mean, but how
like
do I
some
figure that out if I'm not?
it's again, the whole package. It's
Yeah.
really, really going within. It's really
Pinpointing what's
yeah,
causing.
and you have already made a big pinpoint. You like your things done your way, so you're gonna do it yourself. A lot of people are like that, you know. I want it done right, so I'm gonna do it. Or my family needs me, I gotta be there. And then you forget about Claudia needed to get a massage or needed to go for on a vacation. And when you do those things, you feel better when you come back, right? So, you're on the right track. And that's how you pinpoint stuff like that. How do you feel after you came back from this vacation? Oh, I'm not gonna answer because you were like, I need to go back to Utah.
Yeah. Was that the day after
Tell me
we
about it.
got back?
It was like nothing to do with me, but it had it all to do with me.
You see that? It had
There
all
you go.
yeah. You made it all because you don't know how to not make even during that vacation, I was like, "Stop it." I was like, "You're here. There's nothing you can do about that shit. Let it go." And you couldn't because that's who you
Yeah.
are. You couldn't. You took care of it Monday, Tuesday, whenever you had to take care of it, make that phone call, you did it because that's you. But remember, if imagine if you didn't do shit. I bet you when you got back from vacation, it would have been resolved.
They would find a way.
They would have found a way, but because you were taking care of it there, they were just waiting for you to get it taken care of. But if you did nothing, saying like, "Oh, I have no internet. I'm in the woods in my little
Yeah.
house, beautiful house in the woods,
Yeah.
no internet," you would have definitely come home to that problem being taken care of. And it's hard, but look at you, burnt
Yeah,
out, sleeping on the podcast.
sleeping on
Girl,
the job.
you're on
Girl, you're
YouTube.
sleeping on the job.
You need a sip of water.
Oh man.
It's only Monday and you're already burnt. It's
Burnt out.
Monday, yeah, burnt out.
Yeah, it's Monday. It's definitely Monday.
Feels
Yeah,
like
girl, go
Sunday to
get a
me.
massage. I just recently got a massage and I'm feeling
When
good.
did you get a massage?
Last week. The Tuesday after we came
You
back.
came back. Oh, okay.
Remember
'Cause
I
I know you
told you
got a facial before.
right, and
Okay.
then remember I was like, "Oh, I had my massage after," but I couldn't
Yeah,
remember the
yeah.
day.
It
Yeah.
was Tuesday. That's what's
Mhm.
up.
And then I was, like, telling she's like, "Oh, is there any specific spots, you want me to focus on?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Everywhere.
Remember I, kinda
Your
pulled
neck.
my neck,
Yeah.
the left side, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So I told her that. I was like, "Yeah, the last day of my vacation, I felt like a pull in my neck. It was hard for me to turn my head." And I showed her where. But then she's like, as I was doing it, she was like, she felt more on the opposite side. I was like, "Oh, interesting," because that's where I was feeling it more too. So that's
Mhm.
weird how it like jumped. But she was like, just make sure you don't take too long to come back because that's my problem. Like, I don't consistently give myself those things when I know like my body could really benefit from it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't remember last time I got a massage, but I know I want one. I need one.
It was so good.
Like, I love to stretch, so whenever I'm feeling tension or like I need massage, I'll do these weird poses, stretches, and it feels like a massage sometimes at the end, but I want somebody's hands all over me too.
Yeah, like for me, I didn't know my right side needed a little extra loving. But
Yeah.
when she was doing it, I was like, oh, like it was feeling so good. Like she was like getting rid of all the knots. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So doing things to take care of you when you're feeling burned out could be definitely take care of your mental health. Seek a therapist, safe place to talk, not a friend, not a family member.
Why not?
Because
You need a professional
you need a
sometimes,
professional
someone who's
sometimes,
not biased,
Mhm.
someone who's gonna give you clinical advice. Yeah, it's good to talk to your friends, but if it gets to a point where it's getting serious, like in
Okay,
the
yeah.
beginning, how we talked about could be depression. You could be
Like when
going,
you're feeling you have no purpose
yeah,
Mhm.
or God doesn't love you or nothing
you,
that you do is right. Yeah, then
Yeah,
you
those
hate
type
your
of
job,
things.
yeah.
Build breaks. So personal check-in is a
yeah,
good way to check in with yourself. Like what's going on now? What am I feeling? You know what I'm saying? Do a good check-in with yourself. The other thing would be exercise. It doesn't have to be the gym. Everybody thinks exercise and they're like, I don't want to go to the gym. No, just daily movement. Anything around the house. Walk up and down the stairs. Walk in your backyard. Take a little walk down the street. Do some stretching, those type of
Kundalini
things.
yoga.
Yeah,
To
yoga.
get you right.
Practice mindfulness. So being in the now is always good because, the other stuff comes along. Like you're thinking of your future, you think of what happened. Just be now. Like this is what's going on now. Establish a daily routine. It's important
planners
to have
help.
that schedule. Yeah. And then start building and enforcing work boundaries. So, like if work is something you take home, make sure you build that boundary to keep it at work.
Or if you work from home. So that was a
Hmm.
big thing through the pandemic and probably still now because a lot of people still work from home is being able to designate workspace and home space. So like having a corner of your house or a room in your house where it's just for work. That way you have that on and off point where a lot of times because we are home, we just work and
All
work
right.
and there's no like turning it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no
Mhm.
boundary between work and home.
Hmm. And then exploring hobbies. Find something that you enjoy, you're taking lightning for, and then do that, you know?
And another thing I didn't mention that's helped me is like not beating myself up when I don't do what I need to do, right? So I'll give myself one thing, one task. That's it. Like the other day, I was like, laundry. Like there's a bunch of things I need to do in my house, but I'm like, you know what? If I get my laundry done today, that's good. If I get anything else done, even better. But my
Kudos to
only
me.
my only responsibility is that. And then really like say, wow, like recognize myself that I actually did the laundry. Cause yeah, it can get overwhelming. Like when you have so many things to do and you don't get it all done, right?
Mhm.
So just only giving yourself one task that needs to be done a day, 1 to 3, depending on your, your lifestyle. It could be 1 to 3, but no more than that.
I know it's crazy. I find myself, I'll come and sit down, then all of a sudden it'll pop in my brain that I didn't do something. I will jump and go get it done.
Well,
And I'm like, why did
Is
I just
how is
do
it
it?
urgent?
I just finally
Prioritizing.
sat down.
Prioritize, girl.
Boom. I gotta go get done. Because if
What
I
yeah,
if
like
leave,
that
you're
first
not.
question was, if you had 1 hour to sleep, would you
Oh, yeah,
something
I
about if you
remember.
had
Let me
1
see if
hour,
it'll pop
would
up
you
for
either
me.
sleep or do one more thing on your to-do
Oh,
list, right? Something
Mhm.
into that sound.
yeah, yeah.
I was like,
Claudia would definitely do something else. I was like, "I'll sleep."
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
I
I'm
no
a
put
get
something
up
day.
and go
else.
do it.
I literally did pick something else because I know, the type of person I am. So I said, I would check off one more thing, you know, rather than the sleep
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, so check in on yourselves and don't get burned out. We can get like we are. I think we're thriving, but we can work
Yeah, a little bit.
towards there. So we're looking into it, and we're gonna have some other techniques we can use to get better. But if you are absolutely burnt out, like if you did the quiz and you're 35 and you feel that none of these topics that we're talking about is it becomes serious, please seek help.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, burnt out is burning me out.
Wow.
All right, let's wrap it up,
Wrap it
ladies.
up because you
Wrap
burning
it
me
up,
out,
wrap
burnt
it up.
out.
It's time
So
to go rest.
yes, rest, girl. I gotta go
No,
cook.
it's time to go take that quiz and find out how burnt out you are or
Right,
not, and then
right.
tune in and share with us and let us know
Let us
what
know
you
your
think.
results. What do you think?
Yes, DMS.
Follow us. Oh, go ahead.
Good. No, you good. DMS. Follow us.
I heard PMS.
Yo, you did
I
it.
did. That's all I did.
No, none of that. None of that.
That's not a conversation right now, girl.
It can
Yes.
be.
Follow us on social media, email us, listen to, I don't know. You guys are better at this than me. Go ahead.
Woot woot.
No, no, no. Tell the
Oh,
people where they can find us.
same place as every single time, listeners.
What if this is their first time listening to us? Hey, welcome. Thank you for listening.
Keep tuning in to this podcast platform that you tune in now every week. Comment, share, like, turn on that bell for notifications, subscribe, and share with a friend
Hey.
that you know needs these types of topics. And we appreciate when you do leave us messages and let us know what you thought about our beautiful podcast. Okay, I'm done.
Thank
All
you for
right.
listening.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next
Catch
week.
you next week. Whoop,
New
whoop.
episode every Wednesday.
Peace.
Bye.